Another one's gone. Another next big MMO. Cancelled, collapsing, broiled in controversy, release half-baked in questionable early access status, or just quietly slumbering in development hell. We've all watched this cycle play out again and again. Hype, promises, roadmaps, and then disappointment. And while everyone is waiting for the next hardcore PvP MMO to come along and save the genre, one has been here the entire time. You just never noticed. This is the MMO you didn't know was amazing. Over the last few years, we have seen MMO after MMO come and go, promising the return of meaningful PvP. Ashes of Creation was supposed to be the next evolution. New World launched big, but then pivoted away from what made us excited just to follow industry trends. Throne and Liberty even had a great launch, but the paywall at level cap showed the game's true intention. And every time something fails, the community says the same thing: we're still waiting for a real hardcore MMO. Well, I'm here to tell you, friends, you could have stopped waiting a long time ago. Mortal Online 2 has been here the whole time, silently evolving and iterating to become one of the most exciting and immersive MMO experiences in the history of the genre. Mortal Online 2 doesn't advertise during esports tournaments. It doesn't promise a theme park experience. It doesn't hold your hand. Mortal Online 2 has been quietly delivering something that most MMOs are terrified to truly attempt. Full loot PvP, a player-reliant economy, no classes, no safety rails. If you die, your gear is gone. If you build a reputation, it matters. If you form alliances, they shape the history of the game. Here's the key part that people miss. Mortal Online 2 isn't amazing just because it's brutal. It's amazing because the brutality of its systems create meaning. When you craft your first full set of armor, it matters. When you win your first PvP fight, it matters. When your guild takes territory from another guild, it matters. Because nothing is handed to you. The tension and immersion you feel at hour 5 when surviving in the world of Knave still exists at hour 500, 600, and beyond. Mortal Online 2 may not be for everyone, but if it's for you, you'll never look at MMOs the same way again. Now, if you have not guessed it yet, Mortal Online 2 is a hardcore, first-person, full loot, PvP always-on, medieval fantasy MMORPG. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but you heard me right. PvP is always on. PvP is not a part of Mortal Online 2. It is the point of Mortal Online 2. The game starts with character creation, as one does, where you can select from 4 different races, each with at least 2 sub-races, as well as the height, age, and weight of your character. Now, those stats may seem like aesthetic decisions, but it's quite the opposite. Every slider you move on character creation has a direct impact on your character's stats and their theoretical max attributes. A stout and tall, muscle-clad Thursar may hit extremely hard with his superior strength, thanks to his size, but a shorter and lighter Vila easily weaves in and out of a battle with his high dexterity. The game has no classes, just action and profession points. You gain experience in the skills that you choose to level by using them, but be warned, your action and profession points are limited, and one character cannot do everything. Players must rely on each other to cover gaps in each other's builds. The world of Knave is a single, seamless world, and all players are on the same single world server. There's no instance zones, no loading screens between areas, and no fast travel. If you want alchemical reagents, you ride out into the world to collect them. If you want steel, you venture out into the world to find nodes to mine. If you want profit, you transport goods across the world knowing full well that someone might be watching from a tree line. Travel in Mortal Online 2 is not downtime, it's emergent gameplay. When you see another rider in the distance, you wonder what their intentions are. That tension never goes away, and that is something modern MMOs lost years ago. If you want to see what the early game of Mortal Online 2 is like, that is exactly what we covered in Season 1 of Mortal Online 2 Zero to Hero. The first 2 to 3 episodes cover Tutorial Island, touching down on the mainland, and starting to get established. You'll get an idea of what the process looks like with tons of helpful tips from the perspective of a longtime veteran. I'd also be remiss if I did not highly encourage you to watch Nice Gaming's Mortal Online 2 New Player Experience video. This video not only gives a constructive look at what Mortal is like for new players, but it also tells a great story that I'm personally very proud to have contributed to. Once this video wraps up, please go give it a watch, and don't forget to subscribe to Nice. Mortal Online 2 is a true sandbox, meaning there are no preset goals or quests within the game for you to follow. There are systems to interact with naturally, but once you leave Tutorial Island, your journey and destiny are in your own hands. Become a melee fighter, a mage, a crafter, alchemist, a beastmaster, bounty hunter, or trader. This massive world is waiting for you to build your reputation and make your mark on its history. This video is not meant to be some sort of comprehensive overview of every system in the game, but what you should walk away from this video knowing is that there is no right or wrong way to play Mortal Online 2. Your path, actions, reputation, and social relationships within the game world are formed and evolve through completely free, non-handheld, emergent, and immersive systems. At this point, you might be asking yourself, that sounds great, Deep. Why isn't everybody playing this? Well, because it's frankly uncomfortable to the modern-day MMO player. Modern MMO players are trained for safety, fast travel, instanced PvP on demand, games that set your goals for you, a point A to point B questing system just to rush you to the max level. But Mortal Online 2 does not subscribe to that way of thinking. Instead, it says, walk before you run, prepare before you act, and think before you decide. And if you don't, well, someone else is going to benefit. That discomfort is intentional. The game removes the invisible safety net that most MMOs quietly place under you. There's no return to checkpoint. There's no matchmaking bracket to ensure you only fight players on your level. If you walk into the wrong part of the world at the wrong time, you might run into a veteran with 10 times your hours. And that's not bad design. That's a world that just simply doesn't revolve around you. That discomfort we're talking about is risk. Your actions matter and they have consequences, and this is something that modern MMOs have lost. The first time you lose everything on you, it was everything you had in your bank at the time, and you have to rebuild, you learn and understand something extremely important. Loss is what gives gain its value, because without real risk, there's no story to be told in the game. But here is what that discomfort creates. It creates an experience where you're not power scaled through endless PvE quests to hit your max level, but instead you're just another person inhabiting this world of Knave. Slowly, the world stops feeling like a game and more like a place you know. You learn the local politics, you learn what guilds control which regions, who they're at war with and who they're allied with. You start recognizing people throughout the world. You become a part of Knave. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, because this video is not sponsored by StarVault, and I want to be open and honest. Yes, Mortal Online 2 can be janky. It is not a hyper-polished, hand-smoothed, AAA MMORPG. Sometimes combat looks awkward to someone watching it for the first time. Sometimes fights are decided by advanced tech that you couldn't even explain if you had watched it 5 times straight. Mortal Online 2 has one of the deepest melee combat systems in the MMO genre. Directional swinging, manual blocking, parrying. It's a mechanical skill game layered on top of a character build, layered on top of player knowledge that sometimes is gate-kept from the wider player base. And because of that, the skill gap is real. A veteran with thousands of hours will 100% of the time absolutely dismantle a new player, even multiple of them at the same time, without any possibility of retaliation. Not because the game is unfair, but because mastery actually matters. In most MMOs, time played translates into gear score. In Mortal, time played translates to knowledge, decision-making, spacing, instinct, and mechanical mastery. This can be extremely discouraging at first. You will lose fights that you don't understand. You will die to players who feel untouchable. You will question whether it's even possible to close the skill gap at this point. But then one day, you take a win. You read that feint. You didn't stam out. You landed the counter. That's when you realize the system's not random. It's not just clunky. It just has depth. Mortal Online 2 does not smooth out its edges to make everyone feel equal on day one. It allows skill expression to breathe. It allows mastery to exist, and that is extremely rare for an MMORPG. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it accessible? Not always. If you want to check this game out, but you choose to read Steam reviews first, there's a good chance you talk yourself out of it. But the people who leave negative reviews with 20 hours played chose not to see through the surface level jank into the foundational genre-disrupting game that we have here. If you're willing to push through the friction, to embrace the learning curve instead of running away from it, you won't just find a game here. You'll find an experience that rewards mastery, resilience, and the kind of growth modern MMOs forgot how to offer a long, long time ago. Right now is the single best time in the history of Mortal to get started. Later this year, we are getting the largest expansion the map has ever seen, an entirely new continent, Sarduka. Not just a dungeon, not an instanced zone, not a theme park side area, a full expansion to the world of Knave. New territories to fight over, new resources to control, new cities to establish, and new politics to unfold. When new territory opens, power structures shift, guilds migrate, alliances are tested, trade routes change, conflict ignites, and history is made. If you join after everything stabilizes, you're walking into an established world. But if you join before Sarduka, you're walking into a frontier. And that's not all. For the first time ever, we are getting a North American server. For years, one of the hurdles driving some players away was the EU-based mega server. Now, with a dedicated NA server coming online, the latency barriers drop, accessibility increases, and an entirely new ecosystem of guilds and politics are going to form from the ground up. For anyone thinking, I'm late to Mortal Online 2, you are not late. You are going to be early for its next era. There are very few moments in a sandbox MMO such as this one where the slate even partially resets, where opportunity outweighs hierarchy, where preparation meets expansion. This is one of those moments, and years from now, when people look back and talk about the Sarduka era, you can either be someone who watched it happen or someone who helped shape it. Everything the MMO community keeps asking for: risk, meaningful PvP, a player-reliant economy, real consequences, real stakes. Mortal Online 2 has already built that. It just didn't wrap it in a billion-dollar marketing campaign. I've spent 2 seasons of Zero to Hero proving that you can start from nothing in this world and carve your own path. No scripted events, no handouts, no artificial safety, just the systems, players, and consequence that come with the world. So maybe the next great hardcore MMO isn't coming up in the future. Maybe you've just been scrolling past it for years. Like I said, Mortal Online 2 may not be for everyone, but if it's for you, you won't just play it, you'll live in it, and you will experience the most immersive and emergent MMORPG of all time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in Knave.